Tonight on Scariest Places on Earth, Venice, Italy is hiding a dark secret.
There's no escape from the evil in this place.
It's known as the Island of No Return, Poveglia.
It's almost as if the island itself has become a living, breathing corpse.
A cursed island.
They found pieces of bodies
That no one has dared to visit after dark until now.
I got my mother going, my sister going, my niece, my nephew going, so I have to be brave.
I have a bad feeling something's about to happen.
We're cornered. The ghost has cornered us.
I wouldn't send an enemy to a place like this.
Venice, the jewel of Italy.
5 miles off the coast of Venice lies a 1 square mile island steeped in evil like no other place on earth.
It's Poveglia.
Many people have died here in Poveglia.
Over 100,000 people died painful, agonizing deaths on this island.
This place has a lot of suffering, and it has nowhere to go.
Ci sono degli angoli anche.
Poveglia is filled with spirits. They're watching, screaming, waiting to attack anyone who steps foot on this island.
I wouldn't send an enemy to a place like this.
A family from sunny Southern California will attempt to spend the night on Poveglia.
I got my mother going, my sister going, my niece, my nephew going, so I have to be brave.
I'm anxious, I'm excited, I'm nervous, but fear doesn't come by me very often.
I do not want to discover any paranormal activity, not at all.
For me, it's a challenge. I'm always looking for something that will scare me.
Maybe hearing a couple of noises here and there, I could deal with that.
I'm really interested in seeing if there are ghosts or spirits and what they look like.
But I do not want to actually see a ghost coming towards me at all.
In terms of just being scared of the unknown, no, I'm not scared.
I think it's going to be just the experience of a lifetime.
I feel like we're ready.
But are the Wilsons ready for the dark side of Venice?
The grandeur of Venice, the beauty of the canals, the Rialto Bridge, the Bridge of Sighs. All of their carnivals, all of their festivals filled with bright colors, and yet every man and every woman wears a mask. A mask that allows them to be who they want to be, not who they really are. When you remove that mask, you see the real Venice.
Venetians know that the real Venice is very mystical, but most don't talk about it because they are afraid.
Venice is a strange town. You can feel the atmosphere, the mystic atmosphere, just to walk on the road, on the street.
Venice is teeming with the spirits of the dead. On the streets, in doorways, alleyways. They've been around for centuries. Some spirits are good, but many are evil.
When the sun goes down is when the spirits come out in Venice. They come alive during the night. When you walk in the dark, you see small lights, like flames rising from the ground. These are manifestations of spirits of the dead.
As early as the 12th century, occult practices flourished in Venice.
Venice was a sort of refuge for every kind of people who felt themselves in danger for intellectual reasons, also witches.
In tutta Europa.
While the rest of Europe censored the expression of occult themes, Venice permitted books on the supernatural.
Black magic became widespread in Venice during the Inquisition. Witches used the dark arts for power and to destroy their enemies. Some would create a magical circle of candles around themselves to harness the evil of demonic spirits.
Many believe the evil spirits that haunt Venice have cursed a 17th century cathedral.
During construction of the basilica in Venice, workers saw ghostly shapes and strange shadows appear and mysteriously disappear. Children's voices were heard when there were no children to be found. The church was filled with screams of suffering people begging for salvation. Images of faces in agony appeared on the walls as blood teared down their cheeks. The government investigated the church and discovered it was built over a mass grave filled with victims of the plague.
Those victims were buried 300 years earlier.
I think that the most famous plague was the so-called Peste Nera, the Black Death, which struck the whole of Europe and even Venice, and it killed almost more than a third of the population.
The plague hit suddenly and caused death to its victims within 5 days, filling the streets with dead bodies.
The bodies were swollen. Their faces and their skin would have huge pustules. There was a coughing and a wheezing and a tightening of the chest. There was a growl in the throat as the tubes began to narrow and narrow. You couldn't drink water.
When medical treatment failed, authorities bricked up plague victims as prisoners in their own homes. If anyone tried to escape, they would be killed.
Victims were buried in mass graves known as plague pits.
There were so many victims dying so fast from the plague that when they took away bodies to the mass grave, some were still breathing and burnt alive.
They dug a hole and they hurled the bodies on there. Beneath the bodies kindling, and they would set it on fire. And the stench of the rotting flesh burning was said to have spread the full length of Italy.
The authorities formed a committee to solve the problem of the plague taking over Venice. Their solution was to ship plague victims to a nearby island.
The island of no return, Poveglia.
If you were afflicted with the plague in Venice, you were forcibly taken from your home, hooded, and put onto a boat. You wouldn't know where you were going. Boat after boat dumps dead bodies of plague victims on the dock of Poveglia. They would bring people who were still alive. They started dying. And this island was littered, as far as the eye could see, with disease, pus-ridden bodies. Poveglia became a plague island.
Thousands upon thousands died, and unfortunately, they were buried in the same way as plague victims on Venice.
The beating heart of this island is the Campo della Morte. It's the plague pit. It goes down 50, 60, 70. Some people say it goes down all the way to hell.
Plague victims died agonizing deaths, And because they were not given proper funerals, their souls were unable to rest and still haunt Poveglia.
Because so many spirits remain here, Venetians know better than to step foot on this island.
The Wilson family of California is unaware that their travel itinerary includes a stop on Poveglia.
My name is Laverne Wilson, and I am the mother of the family that's been chosen to go through this adventure that's ahead of us.
My mother's my hero. Always looked up to her, try to follow in her footsteps.
If something comes after me, I don't want to see your heels or your shoes in front of me. Victor is my loud son.
But just remember, the spirits are like these fruits. We just pick them and eat them.
Allison's one of my daughters. She's very outgoing, loves to smile all the time.
My personality is taking care of everything and everybody.
Allison is my mom. I tell her everything, and she gives me advice. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but I listen, and my relationship is pretty good.
Danielle's kind of strong-willed, so she wants to have everything her way.
I just recently graduated from high school.
This is like your senior trip.
Yeah, meet some ghosts. That was the first thing on my list.
Michael is one of my grandsons.
I'm 18 years old, and I'm a military police officer.
He's our bodyguard. He's going to be the one to look out for us.
He's more of, I just got out of basic training, so I should be okay. I don't think basic training teaches you how to contact a ghost.
I'm gonna do it for the challenge and the adventure.
I really want to see if there are ghosts or spirits and what they look like. Something told me.
I can't wait to be scared. Like, I want to be scared just so I can have something to remember.
No matter what happens, we will all come out, just that much stronger.
I hope we can just bond together and listen to one another.
Yeah, I think we'll bond. I know we'll bond because we always bond.
One for all and all for one.
Yeah.
If they have a family that they love, you don't come to places like Poveglia. They send their brothers, their sons, and their children. Why?
Today, the horrors of the plague are drowning in a watery grave.
It's almost as if the sea is trying to cleanse the horrible past from Poveglia.
Our whole region is sinking. For years now, our water level has been increasing at an alarming rate. It is ironic that a place that derives so much beauty from the sea is now in danger from the sea.
So much evil, so much death, nature tries to suck it back beneath the lagoon. Here on Poveglia, the water would come in and the tides would draw the bodies, sucking them out of their own graves.
Fishing men don't like to arrive here for fishing. Dragging the bottom with nets, they found skeletons or pieces of bodies, like legs, heads, or arms.
In the 19th century, a new chapter begins in Poveglia's horrible history.
Ignoring the past, which is nearly always a mistake, they decided that they would build a hospital here.
The hospital on Poveglia was built directly over the bodies of victims of the plague.
They knew of the plague pit. They chose to ignore it. They chose to pretend that it didn't exist. They chose to pretend that the suffering of the people who had died so horribly on this island didn't exist. And they paid the penalty.
The problem of building over graves is that the spirits of the dead can be dangerous to the living.
And imagine then you bring patients in. Men, women, children, who look around and they see things. They see the shadows. They see things more vivid than shadows, stepping out of the darkness in their room with their faces eaten away. And they tell the nurses and they tell the doctors, I saw this, and the doctors think, they're crazy. And the hospital had a surgeon who saw this as a fantastic opportunity to learn more about mental health. He would carry out experiments where he was cutting off the top of people's heads. He was looking inside. He was moving the brain around to see if the evil lay within. And then suddenly he starts to see things himself. He's pushed by this invisible force to the top of the bell tower. He stands there staring out at the concrete below. And he falls. Or he's pushed. The patient surviving carried him into the bell tower and bricked it up. The one landmark that is clearly visible from all sides of the island is that bell tower. It stands for everything that this island is.
Sometimes when I drive by Poveglia during the night, I hear the bells that rings from the bell tower of Poveglia, but I don't know why, because there is no one on the island.
500 years of Poveglia's horrifying past is waiting for the Wilson family.
I do believe that there is, forces and stuff around us.
I haven't really had any paranormal experience, unfortunately.
I truly believe anything is possible, but I think I would have to experience it or really see it to truly believe in it.
I know if I see a ghost, and I know it's a ghost, and I know it's real, that's gonna be with me forever.
I really want Victor to see something, because he's just the real doubtful one.
I would say I'm a skeptic.
Even if he saw something, he would convince himself that he didn't see that.
My father used to say, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
My aunt and my uncle, Victor and Allison, they have strong personalities, and one of them's wrong or right. They want to stay right.
I've seen magicians do things that I could never figure out. Does that mean he's really a magician?
You have to let it in for it to affect you.
I used to believe in ghosts when I was little, but since I haven't seen any, there's probably not too many ghosts out there.
To him, there's no way any of this can exist, and I really want him to be face to face with something.
I'm hoping I can just walk away and say, I told you guys it was nothing.
Approaching Poveglia, I begin to sense a strong negative energy. It's almost as if the island itself has become a living, breathing corpse.
Paranormal experts have come to Poveglia to investigate claims of unexplained activity.
Stepping foot on the island, I feel profound anxiety. There is a horrible energy here.
This is my first time here. I feel a heavy air, an uneasiness, which could be explained by the presence of spirits.
There has been a great deal of suffering here. This place may be a doorway to the spirit world.
I sense a concentration of evil energy emanating from the bell tower. Its dark forces could have a powerful influence over the entire island.
The Campo della Morte.
The Campo della Morte, or Plaza of Death, marks the spot where a plague pit was filled with thousands of victims, both dead and alive.
I see many entities in this area, but these spirits are not at peace. There is something wrong here. Their energy is extremely bad.
I sense the taste of earth in my mouth. An unpleasant feeling of dirt and suffocation, as if someone has been buried while they were still living. There must have been many people buried alive here, and their spirits cannot rest.
The hospital.
Hospitals are wonderful places. where blessed people do blessed things. This is a hospital that cured people to death.
I see the souls of many nurses dressed in white. They worked at the hospital to help people, but they became fearful of someone or something. They felt the need to run away.
I am filled with a strange feeling of dread here. I can see an image of a desperate woman in the need of help.
I just saw a female figure racing down the stairs.
The laboratory.
In the laboratory, the head surgeon performed bizarre experiments on human brains. No patient is believed to have left this room alive.
This laboratory was the domain of a powerful doctor. I can see the presence of a man with round glasses and a mustache.
I hear many voices crying out for help.
I don't know what went on in here. I hear screams of terror.
The quarantine building.
Patients who spoke of seeing spirits were brought to the quarantine room where they were examined and tortured during months of confinement.
I can feel many presences here. There is wailing. I hear crying for help. These spirits are stuck in this place, which is the reason for their endless suffering.
The crematorium.
The final stop for patients on Poveglia was the crematorium, where their bodies were disposed of in a manner that would leave no evidence.
There is a strong sense of spirits in this room. They are quiet now, but at night they could be much more active.
The odor of the dead is very strong now. There is an overwhelming stench of death. I am afraid we should not remain in here.
The head surgeon's office.
The head surgeon's office is the private sanctuary, where the doctor kept his secret journals and grotesque souvenirs from his experiments.
Other parts of the island were places of great suffering, but now I feel we are approaching the pit of a demon. I see an older man, an ugly man with an evil look in his eyes. He appears to be very malicious. Perhaps he is a killer.
This pendulum allows me to pick up negative vibrations in the atmosphere. It can seek out the area on the island with the largest concentration of bad energy.
The morgue.
The pendulum's vibration indicates that this spot is the worst place on the island. I feel that this room is a death chamber. As I hold still and concentrate, the pendulum picks up the vibrations of the dead.
I hear the drone of 1,000 voices coming from the distant past. They are mourning and crying.
An ancient technique is used to attempt communication with the dead.
Automatic writing involves permitting a spirit to correspond through my body. By clearing my mind and allowing my hand to relax, I open my subconscious to receive a message from another presence. We were like you. You will be like us.
Poveglia has absorbed centuries of bad energy. There is a delicate equilibrium keeping this place stable. I fear that if anyone were to disturb this balance, the evil forces could become much more active.
The Wilson family prepares to face their worst fears.
My sister Allison would be scared first.
I don't expect for myself to fall apart.
Who was that?
I'm not afraid, but I've been anxious all week, you know, trying to figure out what have I got myself into.
I like the feeling of being scared, so that's why for me it's a challenge. I'm always looking for something that will scare me.
Like, everybody thinks I'm gonna be the person to just start breaking down and crying.
If anybody gets scared, it's probably gonna be her.
I know she's trying to be brave and she's acting like it's no big deal, and I know it's a big deal. Victor, he likes to talk a lot, and he's not gonna be thinking right.
I think he's gonna be scared, but he's gonna act like he's not.
Nope, I'm not afraid of nothing, really.
And at the end, he's gonna say, I told you this and I told you that.
We're all gonna make it, and whatever happens, we're gonna come out with a positive attitude and a good adventure. I think it's a chance of a lifetime.
I just hope you didn't get us into something that we can't handle.
All my stuff, I'm ready to go.
I'm playing, don't be
If you have a happy life now, you don't come to a place like Poveglia.
The families really come back? I know they leave, but do they come back?
Unless these people are experts in dealing with the occult, I can't imagine why this family would come here.
There's no escape from the evil in this place. If you wish to risk everything that you value, you're a fool.
I've always seen it on TV and I always wanted to ride when I got there.
Tourists coming to Venice for the first time are delighted by the city's romantic atmosphere. But underneath is the occult Venice. Without a doubt, the darker side of Venice will leave its mark on this family.
If they come here, they should know what they're going to expect. They haven't a clue.
It is dangerous to travel to a place like this. Visitors could find themselves becoming influenced or entrapped by a spiritual force from which they might never recover.
These people are not armed for this. They're not prepared for this. They're not ready for this. They shouldn't be here. My name's Robson. I see you've left the glory that is Venice behind you. And tonight, you will see spirits. Because Poveglia is one massive cemetery. From the first plague that crossed this land, there are over 50,000 bodies burnt in a plague pit on the centre of this island that stretches almost a half a mile in circle, and it's 15 foot deep of human ash. And then what do you think happened? They decided to build a hospital on an accumulation of torture, agony, blood, and death. I ask you one thing. Please respect this place. You do not, you will learn. Smiling is not appropriate. This really is a mistake. This is a mistake. But let me explain what's going to happen to you. If you disrespect them, they will come to you, and they will show themselves above all the others. Out of all of the people here, you will be the one that will say these things. Remember. Now, I ask you, do you wish to continue?
Yes.
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 Wouldn't miss it for the world.
This boat here is going to take you to the center of Poveglia. There is a path that leads down to the hospital. You must look for a sign. It is written in Italian, and it says, Reparto Psichiatrica. You have asked for this. This is what you want. Andate.
Here we go. We got this. made it on a gondola, down the river, ready for the first mission.
Man, this is a long ways around.
Whew. I don't know how we got into this.
I don't know, but I can't wait.
Man, oh man.
Yep, Victor has something in store for you. I just feel it. Because you're doubtful. You're too doubtful all your life.
I respect the spirits.
But yet you laugh in their faces.
I'm not laughing at them. I'm not laughing at them at all. Dear God, help us. Help Danielle. Help her to be strong.
You have to be strong.
Dear
That's
God, help
what you said you wanted to do, right?
Tell her to repeat, God through me strengthens my body and soul.
Yeah, Mama said repeat, God in me.
God through me.
God through me.
Strengthens my body and soul.
Strengthens my body and soul. Strengthens my body and soul. This is it.
All ashore, let's go ashore. All right, I'll get point. Victor,
Well, I'm going to stay with Mama.
Okay.
What about Mama?
You take
Go
the
ahead.
rear, Victor.
It's getting cold right now, just all of a sudden. You feel that?
Uh-huh. I hear something.
What do you hear?
Just some rustling in the bushes. Come on.
Maybe just our own wrestling.
I hear something.
I'm not playing.
It's okay, Mommy. It's okay.
I hear it.
You hear it? It's up to behind me.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just keep going. Go. Okay. Go.
All right. I found the gate. We're about to go in. Everybody together?
We're here.
We're here.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Welcome to Poveglia. I have been sent here for your safety and your protection. Please follow me.
God through me strengthens my body and soul.
All right, won't you come in now?
Do you see any kind of bug on me?
No.
God through me strengthens my body and soul. God through me strengthens my
That's
body and
yours,
soul.
Allison.
So you've made it, and you're going to continue. You're now standing in the research library of a hospital that began with merciful intentions. Unfortunately, it all ended in complete madness, with a head surgeon who committed unspeakable crimes against patients. During the time of the Black Death, the plague, Venetians would chant a prayer before entering a place of darkness. Recite this chant as a family. It may offer you some protection from the dark forces of Poveglia.
Let the power of our world.
Let the power of our world
Protect and keep me.
protect and keep me
As I face the terrors of the night.
as I face the terrors of the night.
Just as they did in the Middle Ages, you will be taken, hooded, to different locations around Poveglia. Your journey begins.
In this very spot, bodies of plague victims were thrown into what can only be described as large plague pits.
When this was a hospital, patients were subjected to bizarre surgical experiment.
The hospital's head surgeon performed terrible experiments by cutting deep into the heads of the patients.
Many patients spoke of seeing black shadows surrounding their beds. Those who had the most extreme reactions were held here against their will.
No patient is believed to have left this room alive.
Okay. I'm just outside in the middle of nowhere. An angel's watching over me. Look, camera, an angel's watching over me. That's what I'm talking about.
Mommy, I'm outside. It's an angel watching me, a statue angel.
Oh, that's good.
I know anything coming towards me is good, so I'm not even tripping. Because God only sends angels to me. So any spirit that comes to me is an angel. God through me will protect and strengthen my body. God through me will protect and strengthen my body.
Oh, wow. Oh, that doesn't look so pleasant. Wow. There are all type of strange looking things around here. I don't know what's in all these jars. I see a foot in a jar. I see a brain in a jar. Man, they cut up the people here. That had to be horrible.
This doesn't look too good. Grandma, are you anywhere?
Right here.
Oh, I'm in a room. It's a doctor's office. And the room has a chair. It has a desk in the middle of the floor, a table with an old book and some pages torn up all over. I don't like this room. It looks like I'm in a crematorium. This is where they put people's bodies. Pretty mean thing to do. There's 2 gas chambers. There's one here and one here. I'm gonna move on. I'm heading into another room. I don't know what happened here. I believe this is where they tortured people at. Perhaps they put them in there and they hung their bodies from here. I'm really not sure. I do feel sorry for the people that it happened to.
The room is dark, obviously. Blood stains on the wall. Looks like this is the chair where they did some experimenting. We got some chains on the wall where it looked like people were tortured. Here's some of the tools they must have used to torture. Some saws on the wall. Some cords and wires, skeleton remains.
"10:58 p.m. inside the head surgeon's office.
I'm gonna open this door.
Don't touch nothing. Do not touch that door.
I hear something. Something's coming.
I hear it too.
Mommy, I hear something.
I hear some bells or something.
I just heard a noise up here where I am. I don't know what it is, but I just heard it.
Sounds like bells or chains.
There it goes again.
Pretty much all I see.
Oh!
Parts all
Oh!
and bones.
Hey, I hear some noise up here I'm not liking.
What does it sound like?
Rumbling and tumbling.
I hear a noise.
Yo, you okay?
Yeah, something is walking towards me. Okay, I'm scared. God, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. God, I know you're with me, so I'm okay. I'm scared, but I'm okay, I'm okay.
So what is it that makes a place scary? The confirmation that something exists you can't completely understand? Knowing the terrible pain and suffering have gone on in that place? Or is it the difficulty of coming face to face with your worst fears and nightmares? Over the course of one terrifying night spent on a small island near Venice, the Wilson family found out that scary can be all of these things and more. I'm Linda Blair. Good night.